Hey guys, welcome to the Nail Hub YouTube channel. Today we have our first class with my special guest, Monica Felton. Monica, thank you so much for joining me today on the Nail Hub YouTube channel. Could you tell everyone a little bit about your background?
Sure. Well, first off, Liz, thank you so much for having me. I'm hugely passionate about financial education and financial literacy. And so having the opportunity to share with you your community is just a thrill. So I'm a certified financial planner. I'm a registered investment advisory firm, and I've been advocating for families now for about 15 years.
Wow.
And I really help families with the pathway on how to achieve financial freedom.
Well, I'm just so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you're going to be sharing all of your knowledge with my audience. I know that there's a lot of people in our industry that are struggling with their financial freedom and their financial futures. And I am just so excited for all the stuff that you've prepared and you're going to share with everyone. So today is our first class. What do you have planned for everybody today?
Well, really, today is going to be an introduction. So, first, I really want to encourage everyone. Financial literacy is not something that you learn over it's not something that's taught. You really have to seek your own information. So, most of us have learned all of our financial knowledge from financial institutions like credit card companies and banks and other companies. And so you might see how that might not be in your best interest. So today is a soft introduction, kind of a 10,000 foot level of how money works.
People have really been squeezed hard with their finances. And
Yeah.
I think we're aligned on the fact that people don't have a lot of financial acumen. Nobody teaches us how to be successful with our money. And that's why I'm so excited for you to be sharing what you know, because we've had tons of amazing conversations about this topic. You have shared so much expertise with me, and I just want to squeeze every bit of that expertise out and give it to the people that want to listen to it. So I'm really excited about this amazing in-depth syllabus you created for several classes that we're going to go through together. I just think this is absolutely what's needed right now, and it's not just for nail industry people. I mean, it's literally for anybody who wants to get a better handle on their money, right?
Liz, I agree with you. I think finances in this country are a wreck. I mean, look at our own government. Our government puts 40 cents of every dollar on a credit card. So, who's teaching financial literacy? I'm hugely passionate. Money is not complex. I always say money is dirty paper. It's what you want it to do for us. So when we start to pull apart what money really is, it's actually quite simple. So my hope in this program and, for your viewers is to really simplify money to help you understand what it is and what it can do for you. And by making some simple changes, getting much more, well, having knowledge about how money might be evaporating from your pocketbook, how you might be able to better save money in a way that makes sense for you. So I want to encourage all of your viewers because nobody learns financial literacy. It's not out there. Matter of fact, financial institutions benefit from your ignorance. So I am hugely passionate about helping every individual understand how money works, how we can make it work for us, and how we can, obtain our financial goals quicker so that we can ultimately do the things that we want to do, not what we're forced to do.
Absolutely. No, and I think there's no better perspective than that. And that's why I really like that you call it financial freedom, because that's really what we're trying to create. We're trying to create freedom from that kind of machine that we get stuck in.
Yeah.
And I know our first, we've got several classes that we've talked about. You have put together, like I said, an amazingly detailed syllabus and an amazingly detailed course structure that we're going to go through step by step, because this is something that's a little bit more difficult to absorb, even in just one session. So I know that for today, you prepared kind of a precursor, step one type of course, and I'm really excited for you to share the material that you have for this. Well, I'm going to give you full screen and share away.
Today is going to be a 10,000 foot overview. So I just want to help you get that big perspective on wealth, your circle of wealth. And then as we progress, each class is going to build on the last. So the information is going to start out pretty easy, and then we're going to move into harder. And then we're ultimately going to, well, I'm going to teach you how to be your own bank, basically, so that you're in control of your wealth. You're in control of your financial decisions. So without further ado, we can go ahead and get started into that first module. So as I said, we're going to take a 10,000 foot level to your circle of wealth. And yeah, I like to talk in pictures, and you're going to learn that about me. So really, this circle represents your wealth, what you have running through your fingertips. So your wealth might be bigger than some, others might be bigger than yours. But the one thing I know, and we all have in common, is we all want our wealth to grow. Now, when we talk about growing wealth, most people think things like, well, I'm going to earn more money, I'm going to spend less, I'm going to save more. But in the financial industry, what it ultimately gets down to is people having better investments with higher rates of return. You're going to hear that term a lot, rate of return. So inside your circle of wealth, you really have three types of money. The first is what I call accumulated money. This is money that you have saved or are saving for the future. The second is what I call lifestyle money. And lifestyle money is really money that you're spending to sustain your standard of living. So think about the restaurants you go to, how many times you go to Starbucks, the gas in your car, rent, etc. That's all money that you're spending to sustain your lifestyle. And then lastly is something called transferred money. And this might be a new term to you. It is for many. And what transferred money is it's money that you are sending outside of your circle of wealth, and it could be unknowingly and unnecessarily. So transferred money is things like interest on debt, opportunity costs, taxes, how we pay for things. Now, anytime we transfer money out of our circle of wealth, I want to introduce you to another term, and that is called opportunity costs. Now, opportunity costs, and we can just read this screen right together. It says for every dollar you acquire, you may choose to spend it or invest it. Invested dollars will grow over time, and spent dollars are gone forever. The potential future value of a spent dollar is called opportunity costs. So, what is opportunity cost? Do you earn interest on an expense? So, if you go to Starbucks, do you ever get to earn interest on that Starbucks coffee again? The answer is no. Is the expense or money spent accessible? If I spend that money on Starbucks coffee, do I ever get to use it again? No. So, what would the money spent be worth at some future date if I had the opportunity to invest it? That's opportunity cost. And let me give you an example. Now, you hear me mentioning Starbucks just because it's easy. So if you were to buy a Starbucks coffee 365 days out of the year at $7 a day, basically you're going to spend $2,500. That's your annual expense on coffees. Now, investment return, that is how much money could you have earned on that money had you not bought your Starbucks coffee? And then we're going to talk about years to, projected years. So I have a fun little calculator, and basically what that calculator says is that if I could have taken $2,500 and invested it at 6% interest, I compounded that over 20 years, and that just means I've earned interest on the expense, and interest at interest is what compounding means. You would have actually earned $5,776 in addition to the original purchase price. So think about that. That's an awful lot of money if we would have chosen to save that money as opposed to spent it on a Starbucks coffee. That's what I call a wealth transfer. A wealth transfer including the opportunity cost. Now, there are many wealth transfers. Major capital purchases, things like credit cards or how you finance a car. Qualified plans, and we'll cover this in detail, I believe, in course number 3. But qualified plans are future government savings plans for retirement, things like IRAs or a SEP IRA. We'll cover that more. And then overpaying taxes. Now, mortgages and college expenses are also what we call wealth transfers, but we won't be covering those in our program. I might do a supplemental, but for our program, we're going to stick to major capital purchases, qualified plans, and overpaying taxes. Let me give you an example of a wealth transfer in a credit card. So again, we always are looking at your circle of wealth. So what do we put on a credit card? So let's say I had to buy a $5,000 piece of equipment or something for my business. If I do that, the credit card company is going to charge me interest. And remember, interest, that was a wealth transfer. And so I also have to calculate in what's called the opportunity cost, right? That interest at its best possible potential, what could I have earned? So let's look at that. Let's say I had $5,000 that I put on my credit card. Credit card interest rates are anywhere from 20 to 30% today, but I'm just going to use 22%. And I'm going to say I could have earned, had I not put that on the credit card, 6% interest. So what this shows is that $5,000 at 22% interest in a year, so let's drop down to here, the amount of interest that you would have paid to put this $5,000 on your credit card is $1,230. Now, what happens the next year? Let's go to the second year. And what you'll see is that my $5,000 over a 2-year time frame, I would have sent away from my wealth $2,460. Remember, that's $5,000 at 22% interest. But what if I didn't have to send that money? What if I was able to invest that interest? So that interest of $2,400 and $2,460, if I would have been able to invest that at 6%, well, I would have earned $2,534. So that's pretty good. As opposed to it leaving my wealth, I would have kept it within my circle of wealth. Now, I want you to fast forward to 20 years. Let's look at 20 years. So in 20 years, that $5,000 expense that I put on my credit card at 22% interest, I would have sent out of my circle of wealth almost $25,000. But if I would have saved this money instead and invested it at 6% interest, I would have kept $45,245 in my own circle of wealth. Now, I want to help you understand why credit card companies continually send you credit card applications every other week. If you look at what a credit card company makes, so a credit card company can take this amount of interest. Remember, you paid over 20 years, $25,000 in interest. Well, the credit card company gets to turn around and earn 22% interest, right? That's what they're charging you for your credit card. So over a 20-year time frame, they would make $400,000. Do you think credit card companies, financial institutions, and banks know what they're doing? They do. And I want to teach you how to be better with your money. The goal of this course is to help put you back in control of your money. Remember, today, most likely, the financial institutions are in control of your money. The banks, if you own your house, the mortgage company will have control. We already talked about the control of the credit card companies. Yes, even the IRS and government has control of your money. If you've borrowed money from your car or you're leasing your car, trust me, they are in financial control of your money. Now, I love this slide. This game, tic-tac-toe, right? We used to play it when we were a kid, but who always won when you played tic-tac-toe? Well, usually it was the person who introduced you to the game. They would tell you to put X's down and they would put O's, and usually they won until they shared the secret of the game of tic-tac-toe. Well, think about your money. We've already discussed we don't really have financial literacy in this country. So most people learn financial literacy or how to play the financial game from financial institutions like car dealers, credit card companies, and the bank. I want to teach you how to play the financial game so that you get to be in control of your money. Now, most financial professionals are only going to be interested in the money that you've already saved. So money that's already in your savings account, in retirement accounts, or in brokerage accounts. So what they want you to do is they want you to invest this existing savings into risk or different products, right, that have higher rates of return. Now we're going to go in depth into rates of return. I believe it's in class 4. But when you buy product with higher rates of return, you have to take on more risk. The reason that I focus on this wealth transfer is because no risk is required at all. Now, I have a picture of a golfer here. I'm a female golfer and I love golf because skill is important, right? If I was to go to the Masters, which is the most prestigious game of golf, and I had the opportunity to take the best golfers' golf clubs, or I had the opportunity to take the best golfer's ability, which one do you think I would choose? I would choose ability all day long because my golf swing is far more valuable than my golf clubs. And that is the same with your wealth. Products like a 401k or a brokerage account, mutual funds, stocks, bonds, etc. Those are just products. If you don't understand how those products work into your financial situation, then it doesn't matter how good the products are. So I want to help you with that financial swing, with your financial ability, so that you get to be in control. Now, whether you take my advice or not, the likelihood is that your wealth will grow. But what's going to grow along with it? The debt, your taxes, these opportunity costs are what I call these wealth transfers. So again, getting back to these 3 types of money, the accumulated money is money that you've already saved or are currently saving. Lifestyle money, that's the money that you're using to sustain your standard of living. And then transferred money, those are those inefficiencies or that money that you're losing unknowingly and unnecessarily. If I'm going to start someplace in your circle of wealth, I want to start here in transferred money. And this is why. getting you more efficient is so much more valuable. So let's say that you make $50,000 a year and that you could actually save $500 a month or $6,000 a year. Let's say that on that savings, you could earn 6%. What that means is that your $6,000 that you have saved would earn $360. This is the power of getting more efficient. If I could reduce your expenses or get you more efficient or figure out a better way so you're not leaking wealth unknowingly and unnecessarily, let's say I could reduce that by 2%. That would add $880 to your circle of wealth. Now, $880 is the equivalent of a 14.7% rate of return on your savings. So let me just do that quick math for you. 14.7% of $6,000, that's $880. Now, for me to help you get more efficient with your wealth and help you be smarter about your money, that doesn't take any risk. It doesn't take any risk at all. Whereas trying to earn 14% in the stock market, there's a lot of risk that's involved there. So that's why in our program, we're going to start with transferred money and then we'll move into accumulated money. Think about a bucket. If you were trying to fill a bucket and it had holes in it, no matter how much water you were putting in, it would just leak right out. So think about that wealth leakage, those debt, the opportunity costs, taxes, interest. That's financial leakage. If I could plug these holes for you, your bucket would fill up even at a trickle. My financial report card, basically for all my clients, is I want you saving 20% of your gross income. Now, you might say, oh my goodness, I could never do that. But if we show you how to get more efficient, I guarantee you're going to be able to do that. I want you to have zero debt service, which means no credit cards, car loans, etc. Now, I don't mind a mortgage. I consider a mortgage good debt. And that means 80% of your gross income is going to support your lifestyle and standard of living. So this picture here represents what I call your personal economic model. And really a personal economic model, it's just a picture of how money flows through your fingertips. The way our financial system is fueled is by income. It all starts with income. You have to be earning money. But then once you earn money, it comes into this big tank, and we call that lifetime capital potential. And what that means is just how much money is going to flow through your fingertips during your working years. So let's say I have a 30-year-old and I'm going to retire at 65. Again, my current income is that $50,000. My income will grow at 3%. I don't currently have any savings, and my rate of return that I will earn on my future savings is 6%. This is what lifetime capital potential means. Basically, at your age of 65, your income potential will be $3 million. So over the next 35 years, if you look like this, you're going to have $3 million run through your fingertips. And if you were able to invest all of it at that 6% rate of return, you would actually have $8 million. Now, of course, that's not real, and we know you're not going to be able to save every dollar, but I do want you to understand the value of your income and how important it is to manage your money earlier rather than later. So that's your income capital potential. The money then comes down through this big tank, and as I said, you don't get to keep all of it because the first thing your wealth hits is the tax filter. Uncle Sam, your government requires that you pay taxes. If you don't pay taxes, you go to jail. So the tax filter is not a uh, something that we can think about doing. We absolutely must pay taxes. The next place your money is going to hit is what we call the lifestyle regulator, because you get choices on your after tax dollars. You get to decide what you want to do with that money. And the lifestyle regulator determines, so if you see I pull it down, that means 100% of your money is going up to future savings. But unfortunately, most of us don't look like that. Unfortunately, most of us look like the lifestyle regulator is completely up, and 100% of every after tax dollar we earn goes out, never to be enjoyed again, right? Because when we spend money, it's gone. I can never use it again. I can't have access to it again. And I certainly can't earn interest from it. But let's say that in working together, I can get you to dial this valve back. Remember, our goal would be about 20% savings. Then this money will push up into future lifestyle. And what does it hit? It hits the investment and savings diverter. Now, everybody says, you should be putting your money in investments. Well, that is certainly a choice. And I said, we're going to talk a lot about investments, but investments carry risk. And so risk means that my money has the opportunity to go up, but it also has the opportunity to go down. So as we record this, we're in 2023. The stock markets have been down for the last year and a half. They've been down almost 20%. So if I had $100 in my investments, they're now only worth $80. So investments represent risk. The money can go up and it can go down. The other place I can put my money is into savings. And you'll see savings is called safe. It means that there is a no loss feature. And in my picture, you'll see there's a cap on here. So that means that your money will always continue to grow. There is no loss. Now, if we don't have any money in these accounts, I want to introduce you to this other piece. This is borrowed funds. So if I'm spending all of my after-tax dollars, all of that money is going out. If I have something come up, if I have an expense that's necessary, what I have to do is I have to borrow money, usually on credit cards. And so in essence, what you're doing is you're borrowing money against your future income. It's money you don't have, but you'll have to work to pay off in the future. So these are borrowed funds. Now, my goal for every person that I talk to is that over your working years, we will fill up these two tanks, get rid of that one, right? So that when my income shuts off, and like I said, it might be 60, 65, when my income shuts off or is very much reduced, I have enough money in my investment and my savings to turn these valves open so I can continue to live the lifestyle that I've grown accustomed to. That is our ultimate goal. So this here is what I call that personal economic model. And so everything that we talk about, we're going to come back and reference your personal economic model.
So I think what you just brought up is really interesting because, what we were talking about with these large purchases and also the lifetime potential of someone to be able to earn income. When we apply that to, let's say, a nail technician or someone who's working in that kind of trade type field, I actually think it becomes even more important because you're not just at a desk job where you're typing on a computer, you're talking about physical wear and tear on your body. So your goal of never having to work again becomes much more of a factor, right? I mean, at some point you're going to wear yourself out to the point where you physically can't work anymore. And hopefully that happens later rather than sooner. So I just thought you brought up a really good point with the total lifetime potential and kind of how do we plan for the future when we're going to be losing that income potential, and then we're going to be trying to keep up with the lifestyle that we've become accustomed to no matter where we are on that timeline. I thought that was really, really cool.
Right. And remember, I said earlier, there's so much misinformation and lies out there about money because people want your money. They're not interested. Financial institutions, banks, credit card companies, car dealers, they're not interested in your wealth. They are interested in your wealth, but they're interested in taking it from you. So if you can just learn to discern the truth from the lies, you can grow your wealth immensely without taking on a single bit of risk. Now, we will talk about risk, and I am a proponent of investing and taking on risk, but in its right order, in its proper order, at the right time. So we're going to talk about all those things because there is an order to financial success that you do need to step through. And it's not have thousands of dollars on your credit card and then go buy cryptocurrency. People do that, right? They've all been crushed in the last 2 years, but the point is you can take very little to no risk and still have so much more wealth. I can't help people get to the next place until they truly understand where you are today. So it might be ugly, it might be tough, but having an understanding of where every dollar is going today is going to be hugely beneficial and very valuable, right? So we have to sort of stick a stake in the sand about what your position is today, so that through our course, as you learn to do things differently, then you know where you're going to go. You know the huge benefits if you do implement some of the knowledge and information you're going to receive. So what I want each of you to understand is, where's the money? Where's it going? I have just given you some examples of where money goes. So here's savings. Now, savings would look like your banking account, a savings. That is remember what type of money? Accumulated money. That's money we have saved or are saving for the future, and the amount that I'm currently sending there. You can see I did IRAs, SEPs, Roths, 401ks. That's accumulated money. Now I have some examples of lifestyle money. So coffee, food, rent, clothing, going out, your car. And this again is your monthly spend. I want to know where the money's going. And this might be a little bit trickier, but certainly when Liz and I host office hours, we can talk about these wealth transfers. But if you have credit card debt, or you are borrowing money for your car or even your mortgage, I want to understand, what is the interest? How much interest are you paying? I would encourage you, I want you to take out your bank statements. I want you to take out your credit card statements. I want you to really understand where your money is going. And that is your homework for today.
And I think this will be a great, like you said, it's a benchmark, right? It's understanding where you are now so that you can measure your successes against today as we move forward through these courses, which I think is going to be really, really cool. And ultimately, I'm just really excited about this entire project because, I mean, we've talked a lot about this, but I've been, on my channel, I keep things very fundamental, keep it simple, demystify, strip off all the misinformation, try to teach people about what the real meat and potatoes is so that they can make those smart decisions about anything that they come across with their nail care. And I'm just so excited you're going to be sharing that same perspective, but from financial stuff, which really is what makes the world go round. I mean, we hate to admit it, but money is what makes the world go round. And if you have that control over your money, you're going to be able to have so much more control over your life, which I think is really empowering.
And the goal here is to help everyone understand money is a tool. That's all it is. It's a tool to get us what we want. And there's so much emotion and misinformation and just nonsense. It's dirty paper, people. That's all it is. So let's figure out how we get it to work for us. And again, when you do have control of your money, you have control of all aspects of your life. So we're in for a good time. And again, if you follow along with me, take our courses, progressively, and I would really encourage you to do the homework. I promise you, at the end of this, you're going to be in a dramatically different position.
So we are going to do an office hours session to answer any questions that come up after this video, which I'm very excited about. So I want to make sure that everyone who watches this first class, feel free to comment below the video. You can also send in questions if you don't want to ask anything publicly. You can send in questions to support@thenailhub.com. And we will take note of all of those questions. We will come up with our Q&A, and we will do an office hours session. So that'll be really great to answer any particular questions that come up that maybe we didn't address well today. And Monica, I just wanted to say thank you once again for putting this all together, for coming on here, sharing all of your knowledge. I mean, you're just such an advocate for financial freedom, which I think is so empowering. And I'm so glad to call you a friend. And thank you for everything you've done for this.
Oh my gosh, it's absolutely my pleasure. Thanks, Liz.
All right. See you guys in our next office hours. Bye.